Perfect Turd Podcast, episode 88, Lamar, Parts Unknown.
Not the Anthony Bourdain documentary.
It's a wrestling movie.
A wrestling horror movie, maybe?
Yeah. I just want to make one disclaimer before we start talking about this movie.
Yes.
I want everyone to know that Lamar picked this movie.
Don't do that, because I've been picking some good ones. Don't do that. I never take credit for picking the good ones, so don't just throw me under the bus. This was just, I thought it was because you're into wrestling, and it was like something with horror, and I was like, this would be cool. And then you watch the movie, and then it's, what did I say? It's an acid trip of convolution.
Because yesterday was, for some of us wrestling fans out there, yesterday was a good day. It was a big day in wrestling. CM Punk made his return to the world of wrestling. I watched that, and then I was in a wrestling mood, and I watched this movie for our review, and Lamar, ruined my day.
Hey man, look, it could have been something great, and that's gonna kind of be my review, because this movie, we always talk about it. It has the premise.
Yes,
but it
does.
Didn't follow it.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Well, what is it about? What was the premise?
The premise is that you have these wrestlers. They're low end wrestlers, and they're getting beat up and stuff like that. And
but
one of them.
It's implied that they're a wrestling family that used to be famous.
They were huge before. Yeah. They've kind of fallen off.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of problems. Drug problems, alcohol problems. They don't like each other. Well, one of the wrestlers accidentally kills somebody.
But did he I think he meant to kill him almost.
He meant to kill him, but nobody else was really at first. Everybody was like, oh, is this part of the show?
Yeah.
And that caused more problems, but that kind of, I think, threw him into a rage, because they kind of distanced themselves from him. And he was like, I've been through all this crap. You know what? How about we just start killing people? And that's the movie. And things happen, Joe.
Lots of things happen. See, at first I thought it was going to be like almost like a wrestling drama, like this family that used to be a famous wrestling family, and now they're on the indies, and he's crazy. The sister's even crazier, who we will talk about in a second. Then there's like a brother that's, what would you say, he's kind of slow, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
Then you have like the good brother that's trying to restore the family name, but they drive him so crazy that he kills himself
in like the first 10 minutes.
And so it's that, and then it turns into like a supernatural, because he kills his parole officer. And in the process of getting rid of the body, they run into a demon of some kind, a spirit.
Yeah.
Voiced by wrestling legend Jake the Snake Roberts. And he's the one that convinced him to go on the killing spree. But standing in their way is the dead police lady,
because she comes back for some reason.
She comes back as some kind of spirit entity, and she's standing in their way. Like you said, this all could have been kind of cool, but it was just all over the place in a mess.
Yes.
But talk about the sister.
Well,
she did some interesting things.
She is a cokehead. She's basically addicted to cocaine, and she has a friend.
Yeah.
That they wrestle. They set up a first blood match?
Yeah.
And so, they set up a first blood match, and the sister kind of takes it too far and cuts off the nipple of her wrestling, the person she's going against, who was her friend.
Yeah. Not only cuts off the nipple, but then she eats it too.
This is what the movie should have been.
Yeah.
It should have been them it could have gone two ways. It could have been, okay, he kills somebody, and then they do like some underground thing where they like trick wrestlers to maybe they set it up as a match and they kill them. Okay. Or they go around and they do the crazy wrestling moves on their random fans as revenge. Like, here comes the pile driver of death.
Yeah.
This movie though, it goes into like some stuff about like philosophy of being used, and it's a lot of stuff to process, and that's where the movie lost me.
Yeah, see, I thought it was gonna go down the route like almost like Devil's Rejects. Like these are just a bunch of crazy people that are
Yes.
wrestlers that are on a killing spree. Like they're going from town to town, wrestling in these halls and stuff, and they kill people. Like, yeah, it just went all different directions, and it was crazy. Also, there was another scene where the sister comes into, I guess, rape her ex best friend there, and she had a dildo with razor blades on it, and I was like, this is.
We have to set up what happened, because the woman that got her breast bitten off, she's on like I don't know what kind of machine, like you have to breathe through or whatever. Yeah. And so the top guy is like, well, we got to set up our fans, and how are we going to set up our fans to kill them? Well, you need to become a prostitute.
Yeah.
And then so she becomes a prostitute, sets up this guy, and then they kill him. But it's like, I don't know this guy personally, but I'm gonna go out on the limb and say he probably didn't deserve to die. Just for, and I will say prostitution is illegal in a lot of places, but the punishment doesn't fit the crime, Joe. And that leads to the friend getting set up by the sister to get sexually assaulted with a dildo with razor blades on it.
Yep. And then the ending didn't make any sense at all.
It lost me after that part. I was just like, what is going on here?
I have no idea where this movie was going, where it went, and it was too long.
That's another problem.
It was 2 hours. See, now this movie didn't have to be bad. If you would have taken the same premise and a lot of the same gimmicks and crazy shit that happened and condensed it to like an hour and 10 minutes, this would have been like a really crazy movie, but we would have been, oh, okay. But it was meandering around and stuff,
Just let CM Punk coming back to wrestling just go in your brain. That's what you do. Yeah.
Well, what are you rating this movie that you picked this week?
You don't look, man. Don't do this to me, okay? I've been on a hot streak. I never take responsibility for the good ones that we have. I never do it. But I am going to say this is like the premise I thought was going to be awesome. I'll give it a 1.5.
1.5.
Like, I mean, because it's like you have it, wrestling and horror. Yeah. Like I said, you could have had like wrestlers. I like your idea where you're going from town to town and they're killing people. Yeah. I would have liked it if they would have snuck up on people and did like crazy wrestling moves that resulted in death. But they didn't do that. They skipped out on the premise and made it something else. So I say a 1.5.
1.5. Yeah, I'm giving it a 1. It was just, we watch a lot of different things on here. I appreciate, when people give it some effort and, and all that. And I wanted to do that with this movie, but I just can't because it just was so off. Yeah. And it didn't have to be, like we said, it didn't have to be.
It was too long.
It was
the length was a big problem. Yes.
That was a big problem. And it was like, if they would have just stuck with the wrestling psycho killers, that'd have been good enough. Yeah. So I can't. It's got to be a 1. I'm sorry.
That's understandable. Yeah. There's another wrestling horror movie somewhere. We'll have to try that one. Maybe they do one of our ideas, Joe.
Maybe. All right. Well, I guess that wraps this one up. Parts unknown. Peace.
Deuces.